Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hope Through Caring Gala. Our MC is a multi-Emmy Award-winning television host and the political and legal analyst for WGN TV News, seen on all of WGN News programs. He anchors WGN TV Political Report every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. and hosts Behind the Curtain, where he covers theater and arts, which premiered today on the new WGN Plus TV streaming app, where it will air every weekend and on WGNradio.com. He's the author of 15 award-winning books and a longtime friend of the Les Turner ALS Foundation. Please welcome Paul Lisnek.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Yeah, you got us talk back. Good evening. Because this is going to be a fun night, an incredible night. Look, I do events from time to time. This one is really incredibly special. For the people who attend, just welcome all. You're taking pictures. I'm going to give you one good picture so you have it. All right. Well, welcome, as I said, to the Les Turner ALS Foundation's 37th annual Hope Through Caring Gala. 37 years. I'm honored to be again with you this evening with a community and a cause that are truly unlike any other in Chicago. It was several years ago now that I first began covering the foundation for television, brought into this world by my producer, who at that time, his mother was afflicted with the disease. And all I had to do in that first day, that first moment, was meet some of the patients and their families and their friends. And I was hooked because I found a community of support and connection, and most importantly, of positive and hopeful outlook that a cure will indeed be found in our lifetimes. I believe that. And in the meantime, never-ending improvements in helping those who live with ALS and providing support and hope for those who love and care for them. The Les Turner ALS Foundation provides, as you know, comprehensive care and support to people living with ALS, their caregivers, their families. Through the Les Turner ALS Foundation Center and the Lois Insulia ALS Clinic in Northwestern Medicine, people with ALS receive world-class clinical care, access to clinical trials, hope through, yes, go ahead, yes, through scientific research, that's the reference. Now look, after the shock of a diagnosis, people have access to an amazing suite of resources to plan, to prepare. There's support groups where people navigate the disease together, which is so important, and they have comfort and solace in times of loss. All of that is possible only because of your support. It's as simple as that. Because this cause matters to you. Because you choose to be here. You choose to lend your support, and compassion happens as a result. Caring happens. Hope happens. We're going to start with something a little different tonight. The short film you're about to see is a world premiere. It's about a group of people several decades ago, and it's about you, too. Please direct your attention to the screen.
Les Turner grew up in Oak Park, Illinois. He was a unique guy. He was very personable, very intelligent, exceptionally smart.
Les Turner was married to my sister Ina, so he was my brother-in-law. Ina and I were very close. Harvey and Les were very close, closer than brothers.
We spent every day together, vacations together. It was just a special friendship. January of 1976, he went into Evanston Hospital for a diagnosis. Dr. Vic walked in at 6:30, stood at the foot of the bed, said, Les, you have amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS. It's terminal disease. You have 2 to 3 years to live. And walked out of the room. There was absolutely nothing about ALS. There wasn't a pamphlet, there wasn't a brochure, no research, nothing to tell you about the disease. There was nothing. Les Turner, I think more than anything, he didn't want others to suffer. He didn't want other families to suffer as he suffered. We had this goal of establishing the first research laboratory in the world devoted solely to ALS research. So in 1977, we started the Les Turner ALS Foundation.
We started it almost as a fundraising organization. The first event that we had, it was the Artist Night Out. We raised an amazing $5,000. We had another event at Sportsman's Park. We had a horse that had a Les Turner ALS Foundation blanket on it. We raised $3,000. So now we have $8,000, which we thought, wow, we're on our way. We got press. Bob Greene wrote an article about Les that just opened things up, but we started getting more and more publicity. And then my sister Ina was cleaning out the basement and brought out a stack of LPs and put them by the curb. And Les saw people rummaging through the LPs. He came up with the idea of the Mammoth Music Mart.
Les died April 14th, 1978. He didn't get to see the music sale, but we pulled it all together. People came from all over the world to shop the music sale. It was a happening on the North Shore of Chicago. It was something very special. The spirit that existed in that tent was just incredible. We said, if we're going to do a music sale, we need a general chairman. And somebody said, well, why not Dick Clark? I mean, he was a major music figure. And so we wrote him a cold letter about Les Turner. And lo and behold, he did agree to be the general chairman.
Hi, I'm Dick Clark, honorary chairman of the Les Turner ALS Foundation's Mammoth Music Mart for Lou Gehrig's disease.
That was really a game changer for the foundation because of many PSAs that he did. He got radio stations to come to the tent and sign autographs and do a little emceeing. We opened and closed every sale with Barry Manilow playing This One's For You.
Barry Manilow, This One's For You.
I think I teared up every time because the words just seemed so appropriate. This one's for you, wherever you are. We funded that first research laboratory at Northwestern. They really made our cause their cause. And it was really a partnership of shared values. I'm so proud of that relationship.
The foundation has done so many things to help. People now are living with ALS and have some quality to their lives.
I can't tell you how often I get calls from ALS patients or families. Harvey, what do I do? Where do I go? Being able to help them is just enormous. Giving them some hope, somewhere to go, someone to meet with, someone that's going to give them direction. There was nothing like that when Les was diagnosed. Nowhere to go.
Hope. It's giving hope to the patients. I am honored and grateful to have been with this from the beginning. Even though it's a multifaceted disease, we're going to find these answers, and we're going to have that world free of ALS.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up. That's the future of the foundation. No one's giving up. This one's for you, Les.
Look what they've done. I have little doubt Les is looking down with great pride and love for his family, knowing what they and you have accomplished. And so as I say, as they've said, Les Turner, this one's for you. Welcome, Harvey and Bonnie Gaffin.
Good evening. Bonnie and I want to express our sincere appreciation to the Foundation Office, and in particular to Mark Hayden, for encouraging and supporting the film of this legacy video. In 2027, the Les Turner ALS Foundation will celebrate its 50th anniversary. In recognition of this milestone, and in the interest of bringing both the video and the foundation full circle, I'd like to take this opportunity to highlight from its humble beginnings the foundation of today. As disclosed in the video, in 1979, in partnership with Northwestern University's medical school, we established the first recognized laboratory in the world devoted solely to finding the cause and cure for ALS. That strong partnership with Northwestern has endured the test of time and grown even stronger, building on its foundation of shared values and unshakable resolve. Northwestern, as it said in the video, has always made our cause their cause, and recently committed to endow in perpetuity the Les Turner ALS Center at Northwestern Medicine. Today, the Les Turner ALS Foundation is recognized and valued as a worldwide lifeline for both those living with this insidious disease and their families. With the support and generosity of people like you, as was indicated in the video, the foundation has succeeded in raising over $80 million, which has been strategically directed toward underwriting the cost of groundbreaking research, advanced treatments, and delivery of unparalleled care. In March 1993, the Les Turner ALS Foundation's research laboratory at Northwestern co-discovered the genetic link for familial or inherited ALS, SOD1, paving the way for the first FDA-approved genetic therapy. Today, the search for the causes of ALS continue unabated. More than 70 researchers and clinicians at the Les Turner ALS Center are spearheading studies in biomarkers, neuroprotection, and potential underlying causes and cures for ALS. And really, it doesn't stop there. At our prestigious world-class multidisciplinary Lois and Solia ALS clinic, we are providing expert, personalized care while driving research forward, hosting drug and clinical trials, and lending support for promising new treatments. In addition, Our new partnership with the Haley Center for ALS at Massachusetts General Hospital will accelerate access to drug and clinical trials, to expanded access protocols, and to showcase the platform as a model for ALS clinics worldwide. Today, our commitment is stronger than ever as we forge ahead with an uncompromised sense of purpose. In partnership with people living with ALS, through our support groups and educational resources, we will continue to provide hope and emotional, physical, and holistic support for the ALS community. Now more than ever, we need your partnership, your support, your donations, your voice, and your unwavering commitment to sustain our momentum, advance our progress, and take the foundation to the next level. As Bonnie emotionally expressed at the end of the video, we must and always will continue our quest to find a cure and live in a world that is free of ALS. Well, all of you are the heart and soul of this cause. Thank you for your kindness, support, and generosity. And as we have so often said over the many years, thanks for caring.
Harvey, Bonnie, thank you so very, very much, and for those beautiful words. From the founders of this incredible organization who you've met, to the people leading the charge today, please welcome to the stage the Foundation's Board Chair, Aaron Reardon-Cohn, and CEO, Laura Frevaletti.
I don't need glasses. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Erin Reardon-Cohn. We have over 400 people in the room and watching online, including 75 people living with ALS and their guests. We are a community united by purpose and determined to create a world free of ALS. If you were here last year, you might have noticed that the layout of the room has changed. It may seem like a minor thing, but the curtains are open and you can see the Chicago skyline. What's that?
Or they will be after.
Or they will be able to. Soon. It's a reminder that your generosity reaches far beyond this room. It brings light into homes you'll never see. It creates momentum that continues long after this evening is over. In 2024, your donations made it possible to fund over $1 million in ALS research and grants and clinic and endowment support at the Les Turner ALS Center at Northwestern Medicine. Remember when Bonnie talked about that first $5,000 they raised to start the ALS Research Laboratory? Because of this community, because of donors like you, that has grown to over $1 million every single year. That is incredible. And that's the difference you all make. Last year, our amazing support services coordinators held more than 5,000 care coordination meetings to help people living with ALS solve problems, manage care, and find a shoulder to lean on. That is a 20% increase over the year before, thanks to your generosity. We distributed 103 grants to help cover the cost of equipment, respite care, and transportation. 133,000 people found informed answers and encouragement on our website. We added new support groups for young adults and people newly diagnosed with ALS. Your gifts paved the way for 10 ALS clinical trials and 6 observational studies. Thank you. You helped fund the partnership with the Healy Center for ALS at Mass General Hospital in Boston to accelerate enrollment and improvements in ALS clinical research. That's the difference you're making through your support of the Les Turner ALS Foundation. That's what's possible when a community like this comes together. One thing that our honorees share is their experience at our Lois and Solia ALS clinic at Northwestern Medicine. And that's here in Chicago. They know like many of us, that the doctors and the nurses and healthcare professionals at our clinic are second to none. I want to thank them for their dedication to world-class patient care, and thank you for sustaining their work. To each and every one of our board members who serve as our star ambassadors, to our founders for the vision you gave us, to the people we serve for the treasure of your friendship and your trust, and to every person in this room for the generosity that makes this possible, thank you.
Thank you, Erin. My name is Laura Frivoletti. I'd also like to extend my heartfelt welcome to everyone joining us tonight, both here in the room and those tuning in virtually. We are so grateful to have you with us this very special evening. Before I get started, I want to say hello to a special group of people. The incomparable Karen Steffens and her support group are here tonight. That's the table that is either going to get rowdy or has already been rowdy. I see you back there. There are some amazing bonds that form in our support groups, but the harsh realities of ALS mean that every year we lose people we love. Karen's group has lost some incredible people over the last year, and it never gets easier. One of the group members remarked that he used to see cure and heal as the same thing, but now he realizes they're different. What the Les Turner ALS Foundation does through fundraising, donations, and advocacy is about finding a cure. What they do in their support group here at the Gala, online, even at their summer picnic, is about healing. So please, remember that your donations tonight make it possible to search for a cure, but your support also creates space for people to heal. Before we go any further, I want to take a moment to recognize some very special people in the room. Please hold your applause until the end. First, I'd like to express our gratitude to the Harlow Family Charitable Foundation and the Sheba Foundation. I'd also like to recognize the generosity of Mitsubishi Tanabe Pharma America, AbbVie, Northwestern Medicine, and Paul and Michelle Astolfi. Finally, I'd like to acknowledge the support of First Bank Chicago, Bartlett Wealth Management, Goldstein, Flux Gold and Barron, Stan Tech, and David Weinberg and Jerry Newton. Please join me in thanking all these amazing people. Finally, I have a very special ask of all of you tonight. State Representative Kevin Olakal has filed House Bill 4026, which requests a $300,000 appropriation in the Illinois budget for the Les Turner ALS Foundation and ALS United Greater Chicago. If passed, this funding would directly support ALS care, research, and essential services for people living with ALS and their families across Illinois. However, we need your help to get across the finish line. During dinner, you'll see a slide with a QR code that will allow you to send a message to your state representatives, urging them to support the bill. It will also, that QR code, be shown after the program. All you have to do is scan the QR code with your phone. It takes less than a minute, and you can send a message to your state representative. Every message makes a difference. So, yes, applause. All right, and the fun part of this is I have a high five for anyone who comes up after the program and tells me that they scanned the code and sent a message. So I'll be ready. We're so grateful that you're here tonight and for your support. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I know one or two of those representatives. I'll talk to them. Or maybe I know all of them. We'll see. Thank you so much, Aaron and Lauren. Laura, it's important to recognize the progress we're making in the fight against ALS. Think about the story in our opening video about Les Turner and his diagnosis. The experience of living with ALS in 1977, nothing like it is today. It's a good thing. That progress is thanks to you and your support of organizations like this. And it is something to celebrate. So to present the Harvey and Bonnie Geffen Advancements in ALS Award, please welcome the Chief Advocacy and Outreach Officer of the Les Turner ALS Foundation, Lauren Webb.
Good evening, everyone. I first met Jean Swidler on Zoom at an event hosted by the Les Turner ALS Foundation and Neil's Clinical Research Learning Institute. The purpose was to learn about how to improve and influence the research process. From the first moment I met Jean and heard her speak with a passion for the future of genetic ALS and FTD was like a bolt of lightning. What makes Jean so special is her unwavering drive to find answers and her incredible talent for organizing and building community. She is a visionary, and I do not use that word lightly. At every meeting, Jean is clear, focused, and always looking ahead. She's not afraid to ask the tough questions, the important ones, and she keeps pushing us forward and motivates us to push science, care, and policy forward. She challenges the ALS community to be better, to think bigger, to center families. Jean is also someone who brings people together. Her efforts inspired us to create new resources to help people understand genetic counseling and testing. She also connected us with advocates and researchers and genetic counselors who made the work possible. To introduce tonight Jean's fellow honoree, I need to bring up a special guest. Up from the audience, full disclosure, Mindy does not know about this.
Mindy's like, what? Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Brian Weinberg, Mindy Erlob's brother. What an amazing event. What a great turnout. Thank you all for being here. Congratulations to all of the honorees tonight at this event. So when you heard the list of corporate and foundational sponsors for the event, you probably heard David Weinberg and Jerry Newton. David Weinberg is our father, and Jerry Newton, our stepmother. Unfortunately, they couldn't be here this evening, so my father, David, asked me to say a few words on his behalf as part of honoring Mindy with her award this evening. So, more than 50 years ago, Mindy's maternal grandfather, Milton, was finally diagnosed with ALS after months of bouncing from doctor to doctor. None of them had even heard of ALS. Within a couple of years, Milton died. Milton's daughter was Sharon, my first wife and Mindy's mother. At that time, nobody could answer the knotty question, is this disease hereditary? We worried that someday in the future, the horrible answer might be yes. I knew Harvey Gaffin and knew he had started the Les Turner ALS Foundation with friends and relatives. I joined the board and in no time discovered that my fellow board members were a hardworking, dedicated group focused on finding the ALS gene and someday a cure for the dreaded disease. Today's gathering is proof positive that the Les Turner ALS Foundation is still going strong and still dedicating itself to vital research. Almost 50 years ago, little Mindy Weinberg, was her name then, started her diary. She had a need to capture and contemplate what was happening around her. She kept writing, and that need turned toward activism. She read about the abuses taking place in Republic of Congo, so she went there and interviewed rape victims and wrote a book about them. Then her mother was diagnosed with ALS, and Mindy was tested. She was found to be a carrier of the C9 gene, so while she was supporting her mother, she was making a list of all of her grandfather's relatives, including sons Ethan and Alex. Ethan is here this evening. She took it upon herself to be in touch with all those who could be carriers of the C9 gene. Some wanted to be tested and others did not. Her next step was to identify the major institutions doing clinical trials for the C9 gene and to join the ranks of those who travel from city to city to be tested physically and mentally for clues about genetic ALS. She has done that for years. In addition to her other involvement, she added the political side of ALS to her plate. She met Jean Swidler and became part of the End the Legacy and their comprehensive approach to ALS. She works on committees at the NIH, writes papers for them, and gives numerous talks about the importance of including C9 carriers in the ALS discussion. Mentoring and Zoom meetings are a regular part of Mindy's day. And of late, Mindy is highlighting the psychological aspects of the disease in a memoir that is in production. I love Mindy, so do I. And I love who she has become. From the smart, sensitive, caring person who looked out for the underdog and disadvantaged to an unrelenting warrior in a fight against an unrelenting foe. She never stops her battle and never concedes ground and always knows she is on the right side. True to the cause and true to herself is who she is. Congratulations, Mindy, on the recognition of your strength and fortitude. Love, Dadder. Thank you.
Tonight, We are proud to honor Mindy, Jean, and the members of End the Legacy for their vision for a better future for everyone affected by genetic ALS and FTD. Please welcome Mindy Erlob and Jean Swidler.
Thank you so much for that thoughtful and very touching introduction. My great-grandfather, James Moore, in 1970, my grandmother, Lillian Flynn, in 1990, my mother, Kathleen Cronin, in 2019, my aunt, Joanne, in 2023, and my uncle, Billy, just 10 days ago, all passed from C9orf72 ALS. My mother, Kathy, developed a profound anxiety over developing ALS after her mother, Lillian, died. For years, this seemed to me and to others to be an unfounded neuroses, as any investigation into the issue simply affirmed how exceedingly rare inherited ALS was. But then the drop foot started for Kathy, and you can imagine where it went from there. Shockingly, her knowledge of 2 prior generations of ALS did not help her get diagnosed. She received a diagnosis in 2017 of peripheral neuropathy unexplained over her objections that she had ALS. That dreaded diagnosis only came after her hand started failing and her speech began to slur. When that diagnosis arrived 10 months after her first after her first visit to a neurologist to look at ALS. She shared with me the traumatic memory that drove her anxiety all those years. The only thing I can think about is my mother hanging over a commode at the breakfast table as my father wiped drool from her mouth and said, "Oh, look, she's smiling. I don't want that to happen to me." The first drug to slow the ALS disease process was approved in 1995. For decades, scientific debates have occurred about how to diagnose ALS earlier. Simply listening to familial ALS patients like my mother somehow never got on the agenda. So in 2020, myself and many others, including my friend and compatriot Mindy, got together to create the movement that became Genetic ALS and FTD and the Legacy. Our community would no longer be absent from the conversation.
Before I start, I'd like to thank the Les Turner ALS Foundation for recognizing our often overlooked community of genetic carriers. By giving us a platform tonight, we're all closer to a cure for ALS. 5 years ago, when I lost my mom to ALS, I had the misconception that I was alone in the fight against the disease that took her and the gene that haunts my family. The terror that I felt when I heard my mom's diagnosis feels like a lifetime ago, and it's been a long road that took me from ALS worrier to ALS warrior. And the Legacy and my genetic ALS FTD community introduced me to research, advocacy, and hope for a day when my family will not have to worry about the specter of ALS. I have learned how to collaborate with doctors and policymakers, to write a report with the national academies, to testify before the FDA and the NIH about the rights of genetic carriers, to run peer mentoring and support groups. And I learned to participate in longitudinal research. Now I participate in more than a dozen longitudinal studies of ALS and FTD. I regularly donate blood, cognitive test results, spinal fluid, nerve conduction results, time and money. And I do it because I'm fighting for my mom, for my life, and for the lives of my children and of the genetic community. But I'm only one person, and I have my limits. What seemed like a moonshot 5 years ago now seems attainable. Our familial ALS cohort has grown to include powerful allies in research, but our work won't be done until genetic carriers of ALS are all enrolled in clinical trials early in the disease process, like Alzheimer's patients are. I would like to make a plea to the researchers and pharma folks in the room. Please don't forget about the genetic community. We make up about 15% of all ALS cases, but finding a cure for genetic forms of disease may unlock the mystery of ALS for the rest of the population. From the bottom of my heart, I thank Jean and the Legacy, the Honey Badgers, and members of my greater ALS community. And thank you to my family and friends for supporting me in this journey.
Before we end, we have to highlight the support and partnership of the Les Turner ALS Foundation and the entire team at Northwestern. Dr. Driss attended the groundbreaking meeting in 2023 that confirmed the first ever clinical guidance for those at risk of genetic ALS and FTD, which was released late last year. And she presented a webinar for us and gave talks at our first in-person community summit, planned and hosted with the support and hospitality of the Hall Les Turner team, but especially our partner in planning, Lauren. Thank you so much again from the entire and the Legacy community to the Les Turner ALS Foundation and everyone who supports our movement, and for listening to us today. And a last deep thanks to my husband, Jesse, and our daughter, Anna.
What amazing women. Congratulations again, Mindy and Jean. You know, the Les Turner ALS Foundation is deeply rooted in hope. There's something very special about the personal relationships that our support services team has with the people they serve. And it is your donations that make that possible. Let's take a moment to hear from a couple of those families about what the Les Turner ALS Foundation means to them.
I was diagnosed with ALS December of 21. That was very heartbreaking for our whole family. No one wants to hear those 3 letters.
Ken faces so many struggles every day, from getting up in the morning to just brushing his teeth. But he always has a smile on and just keeps pushing forward. I give him credit for that.
My dad is kind, caring, outgoing, and always there to help me with school and sports.
I have an amazing family. I've been married to my wife Debbie almost 21 years. As we took those vows, for better or for worse, it's been worse the last 3.5 years, but she's my rock. She's always been there for me, and I would not want to go through this journey with anyone else.
I was diagnosed with bulbar onset ALS 2023. I was in denial. My thought was, how do I tell myself I'm all they have? But I knew I had to be strong and let them know I got this.
I was a little bit in denial. Some days I still am, but I try to be there for my mom as much as I can. She's a wonderful person. She's very strong, so loving, and she is an amazing grandmother.
I got involved with Les Turner and was assigned to Michelle. She has been my rock.
So Trina is one of those people that every time we have a meeting, it's like a light. She's just so lovely. We try to meet every 6 to 8 weeks, sometimes just updates, and then sometimes you just sit and talk.
I'm able to open up to her, and she recommends resources. She also is there for me if I need a go-between her and Northwestern.
The clinic at Northwestern, you see neurology, pulmonology, dietitians, speech therapists. You're going to see a lot of people in one day, and it can be really overwhelming. And that's where we come in, where we provide them the tools, how to access these things, what the next step is.
Rochelle's the counselor at West Turner Foundation. It took a while to open up with her, but I've been speaking with her for almost 2 years now. It's just good to talk what's on my mind. Sometimes I'll not be in the best mood. We'll talk about what are other ways to cope with that. I've attended support groups. It's really good to talk to other people that are living with this disease.
We received a grant from the Les Turner ALS Foundation to help us with the ramp that we've installed out front, and it's been a necessity for our home to get Ken into the house.
My family and I have attended the ALS Walk for Life 2 years in a row. You need to have that community because they're like your family.
The experience of the Walk of Life was really good and happy.
The community and coming together is truly amazing.
There is so much hope in the community, and it is pure joy at the finish line. I think those events are really important.
We had some basketball fundraiser that the high school put on. The girls on their sports teams have a little blue ribbon on their jerseys. Having the support with all the community helps get us through some rough days.
Having the community is so important because it helps make daily life better and knowing people there with you.
People with ALS need hope. Community support is a need, it's a must.
My mom is really strong. I admire the type of person that she is. My mom's my everything. I wouldn't be able to do life without my mom.
My relationship with Ken has changed since the diagnosis. It's gotten stronger in ways, but it's also challenging sometimes to watch your husband decline. Our family has always stuck together, no matter how hard it is. We just always remind ourselves, never back down, never give up. And that's a quote my youngest came up with.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, let's give a big round of applause to all those in that video and who made that video possible. My name is Justin Croy, and I am here for a very special reason. Tonight, we all can make a difference, and throughout the night, I will be here taking your bids, taking your donations for the Les Turner ALS Foundation. We're going to start first this evening with 3 live auction items. As you can see on your screen, our first live auction item is Fly Me to the Moon. We're going to go to Florida for a 3-night adventure to the Kennedy Space Center. But before we get started, you all have a bidder paddle, and I need you to get that up, get it waving in the air so I can see that you have it, so I know where you are. Get those up, get those in the air. I see just a couple over here. Get those up, get those waving around. There we go. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Blast off on a 3-night adventure for 2 with the Kennedy Space Center astronaut training experience. Train like an astronaut and enjoy a private meet and greet with a NASA astronaut over breakfast, a snack, and explore the Kennedy Space Center with a 2-day admission and an exclusive behind-the-scenes bus tour. This includes accommodations at a 4-star hotel in the Orlando area. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Let's go to Florida to the Kennedy Space Center. Somebody get 500 and 500. They get 600. How about 5? They get 600, 600, 700 and 700. They get now 700, 600, 700 and 700. They get 800. I'm going to 800, 900 and 900. I'm going to 900. Now 1,000. I'm going to 1,000. They get 1,000. I'm going to get now 1,000. 1,200, 1,200. Thank you. 1,500 and 1,500. They get now 15, 1,700 and 15. They get 1,700. They get now 1,700. Thank you. 18 and 17, but to give 1,800 and 17, but to give 1,800, but to give now 17, but to give 1,800, 1,800, 1,700, 1,800 and 17, but to give 1,800, 17, but to give 1,800 on it, but 17, but to give 1,800. Anybody else?
1,800, 17, 1,800, 1,800. Ladies and gentlemen, take another look here. You're going to get 3 nights. You're going to get hotel accommodations, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. 1,800, 17, 1,800, and 17. But to give 1,800, to give 17, but to give 1,800, and 17, 1,800, 17, 18. Is there anybody else? 1,800, 1,700, 1,800, and 17. But to give 1,800. Anyone else? 1,800? Sold at $1,700. Put your hands together. Sold. 557 is the number. 557. Turn your attentions to the screen, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, next we're going to Hawaii. You're going to enjoy 7 nights of sun-soaked serenity in Hawaii for two adults and 2 children under 12 at your choice of top-rated Hilton or Wyndham resorts on Oahu or the Big Island. Relax in a spacious suite with sweeping views and access to premium amenities like golf, tennis, spas, and beaches. And ladies and gentlemen, this includes... Check. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, this includes 50,000 American Airlines miles to get you there. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to Hawaii. Somebody give 1,500 and 1,500. Thank you. Now 2,000, 2,500, 2,500, 3,000, 3,000, 3,500, and 3,500. Now 3,500. I have 3,000 all the way in the back asking 3,500 and 3,000. But to get 3,500. Now 3,000. But to get 3,500. Thank you. 4,000 and 4,000. But to get now 4,000 and 4,000. But to get now 4,000. How about a bit? 3,500 is the bid. He'll give 4,000 and 35. But to get 4,000. How about a bit? 35. But to get 4,000, but to get 4,000 going once, 4,000 going twice. Third and final call at $4,000. I have 3,500 right over here asking 4,000. Is there anybody else at 4,000? Put your hands together. Sold right back there at 3,500. 455. 455 is that number. But that was at 3,500. Right in the back, I had a bidder at 3,000. I actually have a second package. If you would like to be 30, you have to be 3,500 though. I could sell one to her and I could sell one to you if you want to be 3,500. You get the choice of the second package. Remember, it's 7 nights. Would you like to go to, you also get the 50,000 American Airlines miles. I got to know right now. All right, I'm going to sell it right here. 490 is the buyer. 490. Thank you very much. Well, we're going to go to St. Andrews for a golf trip for our next live auction item. 4-night stay for 2 at the luxurious Fairmont St. Andrews in Scotland, the home of golf. It sits on 520 scenic acres with cliffside views. The resort features 2 world-class golf courses, a full-service spa, and gourmet dining. This also includes a $500 hotel gift card to use towards golf at the stunning coastal destination. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to St. Andrews. Somebody get 5,000 and 5,000. I have 4,000. Oh, there's my 5,000. Thank you. 5,000. Give 5,100 and 5,000. 51. How about a bit? 5,000. But to get 51. 51. 5,200 and 5,200. Now I have 51 right up front. Give 5,200 and 51. But to get 5,200. But to get now 51. 5,200 and 51. But to get 5,200. Is there anybody else? 5,100 here. 5,200 and 51, 52, and 51, but to get 5,200, but to get now 51, but to get 52, going once, 5,200, going twice, third and final call at 5,200. Is there anybody else, ladies and gentlemen, at 5,200? Put your hands together. Sold right here at $5,100. And what was your number? 1919. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you just in a little bit for our paddle raise. It has been a pleasure. Thank you very much. And here's Paul.
Justin, thank you. And congratulations to all the auction winners. The Kennedy Center thing sounds very cool. Now, for those of you joining us from home, watching us on the live stream, greetings to all of you. We are going to take a short break for dinner, but we are going to have more entertainment ahead, so don't go anywhere. Stay with us. And while you're waiting for us to come back, feel free to make a gift or bid online at our silent auction by visiting hopethroughcaring.org. We'll see you all soon, and we'll see you all soon. Enjoy your dinner. It's on its way.
Test. Test. 1, 2.
All right, welcome back, everybody. If you all can take your seats. Enjoying your desserts, we're going to start our second half with lots of great stuff coming up, as you will see. And by the way, can we all give a thank you to Lakeshore Encores? They're giving us the music that you're hearing tonight. Thank you to that band. And the dance floor will be open following the program. Be ready, shake a leg, cut a rug, break it down with your bad selves, and all those other phrases that let you clearly know I'm older than the generation that says that stuff. Okay, our next award, notice I'm speaking slowly, giving you a chance to come back to me. Our next award is at the very heart of this event. It's what unites us and gives us purpose as a community. To present the Hope Through Caring Award, please help me welcome Paul Astolfi. You're bringing them to silence, Paul.
Thanks, Paul. Good evening, everyone. My name is Paul Astolfi. I am very proud to be friends with the recipients tonight, Brian Davis and Katie McNeil. And in fact, Katie is my law partner. And before that, we worked together when she was just an associate. And before that, she was in my class many years ago at the University of Michigan Law School, where we met and where she met Brian, which was a very significant event in both their lives. When Katie asked me to do this tonight, I absolutely, gladly accepted. I love them both very much and was looking forward to doing it. But I did struggle a little bit when thinking about how to put the speech together. So I asked Laura for the guidelines for the award, and that was extremely helpful because if you look at the criteria for the Hope Through Caring Award, effectively what you'll find is a description of Brian and Katie. You find words like dedication and devotion and leadership. Equally, you could add grace, caring, love. We lost Brian in January of this year, sadly, and even in the middle of all of the sorrow and pain of that event, I learned a great lesson, and I want to share it with you tonight. And I hope that it will bring hope to you all, that the future is going to be in good hands and will be brighter indeed than the past. What I learned at that event, and I'm going to speak now very highly of some people in the room. I'm not going to name names, but y'all know who you are. It was an unbelievable experience for me to see young people, 35, 6, 37 years old, dealing with something that should never be asked of people of that age. And dealing with it with an incredible amount of grace, compassion, love, the ability of these young people to process the death of their friend, their son, their brother, their husband, and to share that experience with the rest of us in a way that allowed us to grieve as well was extremely profound and meaningful. And most significantly, I would say, the ability of Katie particularly to stand up at the end of Brian's celebration of life, take the microphone and speak eloquently and lovingly of her husband, friend, father to their two daughters, exceeded only by their 5-year-old coming up in the middle of the speech, taking the microphone from Katie, and like a true daughter of two lawyers, capably telling the rest of us, first of all, thank you for coming to my party. And second of all, if you miss Daddy like I do, just put a picture of him next to your bed and it'll make you feel better. And then Katie took the microphone back from her and finished her speech. So to Brian and Katie, the award goes, and Katie, I think you're supposed to come up and finish this.
I believe that 5-year-old daughter in question is at home watching this, even though it's way past her bedtime. So I feel like an Oscar winner right now. Go to bed. But I'll also share with her, or share with all of you, the advice she gave me tonight, which was to get up here and sing. And then when I gently told her, I think Paul just let you know, I'm a lawyer, I'm not quite a singer, she said, "Mom, sing Pink Pony Club." So if I get really nervous, I'll just start singing Pink Pony Club. On behalf of my late and very loved husband, Brian, and myself, I want to start off first by saying thank you to Laura Frevaletti and the entire Les Turner team for this incredible honor. We were thrilled when Laura gave us the news, surrounded by Brian's neurologist, Dr. Senda Edridris. And Dr. Driss, by the way, earlier promised me she will be on the dance floor with us, so please get ready for that. And our tireless social worker, Easton Stevenson. We were touched beyond measure that we were asked to speak at a time when support for the clinic's mission is more important than ever. When I gave Brian the news back in the fall, I told him to start working on the speech immediately, since he would have to type it all via eye gaze, which is a notoriously slow process. He quickly shot back, "You're not the boss of me," and immediately changed the subject. He was the type of person who could have written the speech in an hour and made you laugh and move you to tears in equal measure, and the only thing that stopped him from being here delivering the speech did unfortunately happen when Brian passed away in January. His death is tragic, but my hope is that it brings into sharp focus why we are all here tonight, that the wages of an ALS diagnosis is death. If you could, for just a minute, indulge me in a small role-playing exercise. For those of you in the room who are parents, I'd ask you to picture the moment that you saw your future child on a sonogram for the first time. And for those of you who are not parents, I want you to imagine for a moment the joy you may feel at creating life and getting to experience a physical manifestation of that fact for the first time. I'd like you to sit with the excitement of whom your child would be, the apprehension of how you can build the best possible life for them, the worries that all parents have about how you keep them safe for the rest of pregnancy and then for the rest of their lives. The first time I experienced this, it was the fall of 2019, and my law school classmate, best friend, and husband was holding my hand in a dark room on South Michigan Avenue when I first saw the collection of cells moving around that would become my energetic and beautiful and, as I understand it, fighting her bedtime daughter, Ada. The second time, in late summer of 2023, I was with my independent and curious daughter, Penny. I was a few blocks north in an OB located in Northwestern's hospital campus where I planned to deliver, and where Brian was scheduling visit after visit to try to figure out the source of his slurred speech. 6 weeks later, we sat in a doctor's office and we were told that Brian had ALS. I broke down in the office, tears pouring out as I kept envisioning the picture from the sonogram. My daughter, who was 12 weeks along in her gestation. Brian was a few weeks shy of 36. I also think about the sonogram that Eva, my mother-in-law, had when she saw him for the first time. And that anything can happen, but ALS is truly the worst of those things for your husband, the father of your children, or your own child. Brian was a classically handsome, physically fit young man who had grown up playing hockey on the North Shore of Chicago, kept long hours in both the gym and the office, but cut back dramatically on both when Ada was born, so he could spend as much time with her as he could. He loved being a dad and would ride Ada to her daycare on the backseat of his bike and bake pizzas with her favorite toppings. Brian was the last person you would expect or hope to get a terminal, devastating diagnosis like ALS. When he was diagnosed, however, he didn't turn into himself or spend too much time feeling sorry for his circumstances. He put his head down and got to work. He signed up for any clinical trials he could. He solicited his former and current employers to make sizable donations to Les Turner on his behalf, and he raised awareness for the day-to-day impacts of his disease on his life and his family's. He worked tirelessly even when the only way he could speak or make an internet comment was by typing each letter individually using his eyes. He took the diagnosis and turned it into as much good for other people battling this disease as he could. And his legacy lives on in his friends, family, and extended network that continue to support the cause on his behalf. We know firsthand that life as an ALS patient or an ALS caregiver is extremely demanding. The patient suffers constant indignities and frustrations as their ability to independently lead their lives is stripped steadily away. And each ability they lose, they do so with the knowledge that there's no way to bring it back. Caregivers sacrifice so much of their own needs for the needs of their patient, frequently losing sleep, time alone, or with friends, or even sometimes not even having time to take a long shower. Both the patient and the caregiver need to learn new ways of handling everyday tasks, like eating and toileting. The effects of the disease are relentless, and it is easy for all of us, those living with the disease and those who are not, to try not to think about it unless we absolutely need to. The reason why Les Turner is so special is that they don't look away. They confront those realities and more for each individual who utilizes their services. They always want to know the damage the disease is doing and to use their expertise to help patients and caregivers put up as much of a fight as possible. We are deeply honored to support the mission of the Les Turner ALS Foundation and to celebrate Brian's legacy alongside the countless others who have bravely faced this devastating disease. In Brian's memory, and in honor of every family touched by ALS, we invite you to give as generously as you can tonight. Federal funding cuts are threatening the very clinics and services that families like ours depend on, making your support more vital than ever. Your gift tonight doesn't just fund care, it fuels hope, research, and the promise of a future without ALS. Thank you.
What a family. Can we hear it again for Katie and Brian and Ada? Sometimes I think that the lawyers look at me remembering that I taught the bar exam course and I bring back memory. Yeah, it's bad memory. I'm sorry. You passed. You're fine. What strikes me when I listen to people like Katie is just how amazing so many of you are when facing this kind of diagnosis, and as horrible as that diagnosis is, the response is not to say, I'm giving up, I'm done. No, the response is to say, I'm going to fight, I'm going to live with this disease, and most importantly, and I'm going to make a difference for other people in the future. That's what's going to be important, that I will create a lasting legacy. You guys have done that, and that also takes me to the introduction of our keynote speaker for the evening. I'm a Broadway nerd, so I'm really kind of excited about the person I'm about to introduce. Aaron Lazar started off as a pre-med student, as many Broadway stars do, at Duke University, Prior to earning an MFA in musical theory, see, he saw the light. Prior to earning an MFA in musical theater at the Cincinnati College Conservatory of Music and embarking on an entertainment career that has spanned more than 2 decades at the height of Broadway, television, and film. He has made films with Martin Scorsese, Clint Eastwood, the Russo brothers, starred on Broadway in 11 productions, appeared in dozens of television shows, performed as a guest artist with some of the world's top symphonies. And I've got a personal story with Aaron. He can hear me right now, so I'm speaking sort of to him as well. But this is something that I'll never forget, though Aaron probably doesn't remember. Well, actually, I'm told he does remember when they told it to him. But I was flying from to LA, back from Chicago, upgraded to first class, fortunately. And I was seated next to Aaron. Now, I knew who he was because I'm a Broadway nerd. And most people would have been excited sitting next to him because of the film and the TV, but that's not me. For me, it was about Broadway and the theater. And here was the guy I saw who played Raoul in Phantom, and Sam in Mamma Mia, and who later, as it would turn out, I would get to interview here in Chicago when he played Arthur in Sting's show, The Last Ship. And so admired him when he played Larry Murphy in Dear Evan Hansen. So yes, I chatted his ear off through the flight, but you know, he didn't seem annoyed. In fact, he was kind of engaging and charming, and truth be told, we talked for 3.5 hours all the way home. And we stayed in touch after that flight until he called the cops on me. No. And now we get to be connected again. And Aaron, I know you hear me. I promise not to talk your ear off again tonight. A 2025 Grammy nominee for his debut album, Impossible Dream, Aaron has been touring the country sharing his incredible story of healing and resilience in the face of ALS, which he is dealing with. And his unique perspective inspires, empowers audiences to laugh, to cry, to let go as we pursue our own impossible dreams. It was the plan for Aaron to be here tonight. He wanted to be, it was the plan. But as so many of you know, ALS often has unpleasant surprises for us. And so he was unable to travel to Chicago. But we are bringing him to you remotely from his home in California. This is a two-way connection. He can see, he can hear you. Aaron, I love you. This is Aaron Lazar.
Hey, Broadway.com, everybody at home. I'm Aaron Lazar, playing Ansel Ross in the Broadway revival of Les Miserables.
They broke in. Blair Hollingsworth.
To a certain extent.
Really love this city, huh?
Earlier this month, Aaron Lazar announced he has been diagnosed with the terminal neurodegenerative disease, ALS.
Everything changed on the diagnosis. I spent all that time really afraid. And then at diagnosis, I kind of went, well, for whatever life I got left, I don't want to be afraid.
Welcome, Aaron Lazar.
Aaron Lazar.
Aaron Lazar. Aaron, good morning to you.
This is my new impossible dream now. And daring to dream it has transformed my life.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Hi, everybody. I'll wave. Thank you. I apologize also. I caught the worst cold. I haven't been sick in like 4 years since dealing with ALS. And somehow 4 days before seeing you guys, I now have Barry White's voice. Or I sound like one of the Dark Lords of Star Wars, like just an evil emperor. I don't know what's going on with my voice. So I appreciate you bearing with me tonight because I'm so honored. Thank you, man, so much for that introduction. Of course, I remember The Last Ship. I'm actually looking at the poster right across me right now. The last show that I did on Broadway, and then Evan Hansen. was the last tour. But that was just such a beautiful introduction. Thank you. And Kim and everyone at Les Turner, thank you guys for allowing me to be a small part of such a special night for you all. Just incredibly moved, incredibly honored to be here and talk about this notion of this impossible dream that we all share. Right? I mean, this is the dream. And the doctors don't know yet for sporadic ALS anyway. There's some relief and some, dare I say, cure for certain genetic ALS, but for sporadic ALS, the docs don't know really how to help those of us dealing with that. And so, they will tell us this is a terminal disease. And I have traveled the country. It's been just a gift and a blessing to spend the last couple of years sharing my story, sharing hope, sharing inspiration with this impossible dream that, despite the harsh and tragic realities of what we know ALS to be, I believe that I'm going to beat this disease. And that's my impossible dream now. And the Impossible Dream, the song, is a very big part of that. It's been the anthem of my life for these last couple of years. But my story with the Impossible Dream actually started 25 years ago. I was a graduate student in Cincinnati, and I was on stage in the dark. I was waiting for the curtain to rise on the opening night of the musical The Man of La Mancha. And I was playing the lead, Don Quixote, a legendary knight on a quest to better the world through unwavering idealism. And I was incredibly nervous because there were critics and agents from New York in the audience. And so my childhood dream of becoming a professional actor was on the line. And so this was it, man. This was my chance to prove to my parents, who, God bless them, supported me, that choosing musical theater over medical school was the right call. This was my chance to prove that I've got what it takes to be one of the 5% of actors who actually make a living. This was my chance to prove that I could make it on Broadway, something only 200,000 people in the history of civilization have ever done. And so, with adrenaline pumping, the show starts. It's going really well. And I get to the big 11 o'clock number where I'm on stage by myself to dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. And the song ends. And I'm standing there on stage. Well, thank you. I hear you guys like in and out, so I just heard like 3 seconds of applause. But thank you. Even though that was like a fifth or an octave down from where I normally sing it. But I'm standing on stage after the song, and I'm in this spotlight in the silence that only exists in a theater, when the audience suddenly rose in applause. And I was totally taken aback. And I started to cry as I stood there receiving this ovation, because I realized in that moment that my impossible dream was coming true. I was 23 years old or something. I had no idea what impossible really meant. Every one of you in this room knows what impossible really means. We know it. Patients, we know it. Our caregivers, our families, our friends, our supporters. Les Turner knows it. And I think it's my hope tonight that when I share a little bit about my journey over the last few years, that you'll leave a little more empowered and with a little more hope. And I don't have a ton of time to spend with you all tonight. So I'll keep it brief into the highlights. But when doctors gave me the diagnosis, which was a little over 3 years ago, I remember saying, well, how did I get this? And they said, well, for sporadic ALS, where there's no known gene associated with the disease, there's no explanation for its development. And I said, well, what medicines can I take? And they said, well, there's Relivrio or I forget what it was called at the time, which is no longer available, blah, blah, blah. Everyone knows the story with the medicines, right? And so I went through the human response of, this tragic news. But the first gut reaction I had was, well, then if medicine can't heal me, at least not yet, right? Maybe somebody in the room tonight, maybe one of you will help be responsible for not only helping someone like me in my life, but help find that cure, that research, which is why it's incredibly important that you guys do what you do tonight. And I thank you for that. But I said, if medicine can't heal me, then I'm going to heal myself. And sure, is that a reaction that came out of some kind of denial? A piece of it. Is it a reaction that came out of my type A overachieving, self who was always used to winning? Yes. But it also was just a sort of voice, a quiet but incredibly powerful voice within me that said, okay, let's go figure this out. And I've since learned that that's what I call my gut, my intuition, my soul. And so I went on this journey to figure out how I'm going to heal myself. And I had no idea where to begin. So I started reading books on healing in the nervous system. And over the last couple of years, I've read 100 books written by doctors and yogis and spiritual teachers and renowned scientists. And I started to understand pretty quickly and be surprised pretty quickly that all of the books agreed on this one critical point, that health is more than physical. Health is also mental, emotional, and spiritual. Now, that sounds like common sense, right? Should be taught maybe in middle school health class. But for me, I had never known health to be anything more than physical. I was, similar to Brian, an athlete, pushed myself really hard at work and at home. Health to me was eat well and exercise, my face off, right? And I was learning now that if health was more, well, then let me take a look at my mental health and my emotional health and my spiritual health and see how I'm doing there. Because physically, when I got diagnosed at 45, I was in the best shape of my life since I was an athlete in college. So clearly, what I was doing physically was not going to save my life. I needed to make a change. And I had no idea that this journey would take me to through the most transformational chapter of my entire life. And I had this plan now and some hope that if I could really take a look at myself, if I could heal my mind, if I could heal my heart, if I could heal my soul, whatever that means, then I'd be giving my body the best chance possible to follow suit. And so over these last 3 years, I've become a passionate student of the mind-body connection. And this is not to say, don't listen to your doctors. I have the best team of doctors. Dr. Harms at Columbia, Merritt at Mass General, home office here at Cedars in LA with the recently retired Dr. Lewis. Amazing doctors. I've taken part in multiple clinical trials. So please don't think that I'm saying here that the only way to heal yourself is to go on a spiritual journey. What I'm saying is that for me, looking at these other parts of myself allowed me to take an active role in healing myself from the inside out, becoming a whole person. And I've learned that, you could say, look, I wish I was in Chicago with you all, and I'm not, because travel has become too hard, right? My dad, who's my caregiver, recently tore his hamstring on a recent trip. Like, it's just becoming so hard for me and my team. And so if you look only at how the body is doing, and you go to the doctor's appointments and they give you the strength tests and you get the measurements and the ALS, FRS, or whatever it's called, you've got a metric. But I found all these other metrics for how to believe in this dream of mine. And as I started to become a passionate student of the mind-body connection, become aware of myself, learn from neuroscience the thoughts of the electricity that connect the brain to the body through the nerves, which are the wires, and go, well, hey, I've got a disease of the nervous system. What's going on with the wires and what's going on with the electricity? And can I trace that back to my thoughts? Excuse me. Can I trace that back to how I've been living my life? I started to notice that even with my face on buses and billboards in Times Square, I was living in fight or flight for over a decade. And that when my marriage unexpectedly fell apart, I blamed myself for not making enough money and doing enough and having enough and doing all of that thing to chase all of those dreams outside of myself. Believing that when I hit the big time, right? Bigger time than Aaron Lazar, way bigger. I mean, how much bigger can we get so that we know that we've got safety and security and that life supports this dream? I was driven by constant doubt and fear for more than a decade, and I believed that despite all my success, I was a failure. And then the doc said, well, athletes and military veterans have a higher incidence of cases than the general public, but again, we don't know why. We think it has something to do with trauma. And I'm certainly not comparing myself to the life of a combat veteran, but I think if you live in fight or flight for a decade plus, it's not good for the body. And I knew that to heal, I would have to change this energy, right? So to heal myself, to change my destiny with ALS, I have to change. And that's what I've been doing for 3 years. Like a caterpillar who in its journey to be a butterfly goes through this liquidy stage of metamorphosis called glop, where it dissolves its muscles as a necessary part of its evolution. The caterpillar nearly dies so that it can fly. I started to notice that as I changed, as I started to get control over my mind, as I started to understand how to live with ALS, reducing fear, reducing doubt, increasing resilience, as I learned to love myself, ALS and all. I mean, in ways that I love myself, I exponentially more than I ever did when I was, in a ripped body at the top of Broadway's stages, It's a different kind of love, isn't it? And as I've done that, I've been able to receive all the love in my life in ways that I never was able to before. And I realized it's been there the whole time. I didn't love myself enough to receive it. And so as I've been doing this work, I've been having these kinds of experiences, these kinds of epiphanies, kind of support that, hey, life does have my back, as impossible as this dream can feel. I attended a meditation event with one of the most enlightened human beings on the planet, a man named Sadhguru. And I remember he said, what's the only thing in life that's inevitable besides death and taxes? This moment. It's this one. This one. This one. ALS threatens to take these moments and send them off on a spin, a dark spin. It takes a tremendous amount of awareness, desire, grace, patience, courage, love, support but I promise you that you can spend this moment perhaps better than you ever did before, because I'm living proof of that. I wasn't ever able to really enjoy the moments of my life unless I was after that sexy bullet on the Wikipedia page, man. Wasn't able to really do the dishes without thinking, I have no time for this. I got to go get another job to make more money and do something better to support my family. I wasn't able to really enjoy the moments sitting on the sofa with my kids watching Cars 2 for the 50th time because I had better places to be, right? I thought those moments were not worthy of my time, but what I've realized over the last couple of years, it's the opposite. I didn't feel worthy of those moments. I did not love myself enough to love my life. All of my life, not just the extraordinary moments, but the ordinary ones as well. And so, being with you all here tonight, who cares if they say it's an impossible dream? Go on Instagram and you'll see countless people living countless impossible dreams. 25 years ago, I dreamed of becoming an actor. And I lived that dream because I believed in myself, no matter the odds. Now, facing this incredible challenge that we all face, this adversity, I find incredible inspiration in the power that we all have within us to make the impossible possible. This comes from getting good at whatever you practice. And so if you don't know where to begin and you're interested in beginning, and no judgment if you're not, but if you're interested, there are 50 books on my website of the 100, and we're putting the other 50 up so you can start there. See if a book inspires you. For me, it was just a question. How did I get ALS? And it's led me on this journey, and it's allowed me to get to the point where I've remembered who I really am. Beyond the body, beyond the job, beyond my name, beyond even the unspeakable love that I have for my kids, my 2 teenage boys. I've remembered that I am something infinite. There is divinity within me and all around me, as there is with you. I'm no different. We're all the same. We're all waves in this infinite ocean of divinity that is within us and gives us the power to make the impossible possible. And so I hope that when you think about this, if at all, or when you leave here tonight, you find the courage and the hope and the faith and the belief in yourself to dream again, whatever those dreams might be for you. Beating ALS is just one dream. I have so many. And I thank you all so much for your support, because what you're doing tonight and raising money for Les Turner helps people like me live my dreams. And when you do all this, guys, I don't know, I've realized that impossible is really just I'm possible. Thank you all so much.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow,
to run. where the brave dare not go. afar to try when your arms are too weary to reach the unreachable star.
This is my quest to follow that star. No matter how hopeless, no matter how far,
to fight for the right without question or pause,
to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause.
And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest.
And the world will be better for this. That one man, scorned and covered with scars,
Still strong with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable stars. Impossible dream to fight the unbeatable fall, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not crawl.
this is my quest to follow that star. No matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to reach the unreachable star. I know we'll reach the unreachable.
Once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Give another big round of applause. What an outstanding keynote address. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we all have the opportunity to make a difference tonight. Where it feels right and where you can help the most, 100% participation is our goal. Once again, where it feels right and where you can help the most, we ask that you put your paddle in the air and leave it there until your number is called off. Over the next few minutes, I'll be calling off various levels at which you can give. Simply stated, ladies and gentlemen, if your paddle is not in the air giving, we ask that your hands are together, encouraging and clapping for those who are. So we are going to start first tonight at the $10,000 level.
I'm grateful to be a part of the clinical trials at the Lois and Solio ALS Clinic at Northwestern Medicine. Scientific advancements have made this possible, and your $10,000 donation to fund innovative scientific research gives me hope for the future.
At $10,000, we can fund the acceleration of innovative and translational scientific research to move us closer to a world free of ALS. So ladies and gentlemen, tonight at the $10,000 level, we ask that you put your paddle in the air. Are there paddles tonight at the $10,000 level? At $10,000 tonight, 4-7, thank you. 5-7-9, thank you. Who else tonight at $10,000? 5-8-0, thank you. Is there anyone else at the $10,000 level? All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move to our next level, the $5,000 level.
No one is prepared for their diagnosis of ALS. I know I wasn't. Your $5,000 donation helps to cover the cost of home modifications and improvements to accommodate a power wheelchair or all the equipment needed to give someone like me independence and confidence in their own home.
At $5,000, ladies and gentlemen, we can allow for home modifications to accommodate a power wheelchair. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, at $5,000. Get those numbers in the air. 1-0-0, thank you. 4-6-3, thank you. 1-4, thank you. 5-8, thank you. 1-6, thank you. 5-8-2, thank you. Keep that round of applause going. Make as much noise as you want. 4-4-2, thank you. 5-8-1, thank you. Is there anyone else tonight at $5,000? At the $5,000 level, ladies and gentlemen, is there anyone else this evening? Well, let's go to the $2,500 level. I'm also excited to Thank you. Sorry, guys. I'm also excited to announce at the $20,000 level, we have an anonymous match. $20,000 level, excuse me. The $2,500 level, we have an anonymous match up to $20,000.
When it becomes the time for my father to require a hospital bed to provide for his greater needs, I am grateful knowing we can rely on the funding provided by our generous donors. Your $2,500 donation will help us both sleep easier knowing that he is safe overnight.
Once again, at $2,500, we can provide in-home hospital beds, ensuring that someone living with ALS can sleep safely through the night. At $2,500, here we go. 3-1-3, thank you. 4-3-6, thank you. 1-1-3, thank you. 3-1-7, thank you. 3-2-3, thank you. 4-2-6, thank you. 6-1, thank you. 6-2, thank you. 4-0-2, thank you. And number 3, thank you. Is there anyone else at the $2,500 level this evening? At $2,500, is there anybody else? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's move to the $1,000 level, where we also have a match up to $20,000.
Managing ALS requires seeing multiple specialists. Your $1,000 gift provides round-trip transportation to and from the multidisciplinary Lois and Solia ALS Clinic at Northwestern Medicine for 3 patients to see all the experts needed to treat this disease in one day at one location.
Once again, $1,000 provides round-trip transportation to and from the Lois and Solia ALS Clinic at Northwestern Medicine for 3 people. Once again, we have that match up to $20,000. So our goal is, of course, to raise $40,000 by having the first 20 people put their number in the air and have their donations matched. So we want to raise a lot more than that. So here we go. Let's get at least 20 numbers. We have a match for it. 471, thank you. 432, thank you. 336, thank you. 477, thank you. 382, thank you. 20, thank you. 48, thank you. 330, thank you. 461, thank you. 3, thank you. 5, thank you. 16, thank you. 108, thank you. 449, thank you. 472, thank you. 443, thank you. 320, thank you. 36, thank you. 41, thank you. 112, thank you. 199, thank you. 60, thank you. 486, thank you. 55, thank you. 44, thank you. 351, thank you. 103, thank you. 10, thank you. 340, thank you. 391, thank you. 482, thank you. Is there anybody else in the room tonight at the $1,000 level? Well, give yourselves a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. You're doing a great job so far. And next, we're going to move to the $500 level.
Living with ALS can rob a person of the ability to communicate, but your $500 gift helps to offset the cost of a communication device, giving people living with ALS, just like my mom, a way for their voices to continue to be heard.
At $500, we can purchase a tablet for people with ALS to conduct regular telehealth visits and their comprehensive care team, and communicate their needs. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen, at the $500 level. 435, thank you. 498, thank you. 34, thank you. 468, thank you. 342, thank you. 381, thank you. 439, thank you. 476, thank you. 203, thank you. 438, thank you. 37, thank you. 35, thank you. 33, thank you. 486, thank you. 460, thank you. 17, thank you. 120, thank you. 480, thank you. 56, thank you. 453, thank you. 411, thank you. 352, thank you. 29, thank you. 437, thank you. Is there anyone else tonight at the $500 level? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move to the $250 level.
As a caregiver for my husband, I know just how exhausting it can be. Your $250 gift provides a half day of respite care, giving a much-needed break so other caregivers, like me, can take care of themselves and better care for their loved one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, $250 provides 10 hours of respite care for someone living with ALS to prevent caregiver burnout. I'm also excited to announce that we have a match for up to $5,000 at this level. So here we go at the $250 level. Hit those paddles in the air. Number 8, thank you. Number 5, 1, thank you. 4, 9, thank you. 3, 2, 2, thank you. 3, 8, 2, thank you. 3, 4, 5, thank you. 4, 6, thank you. 4, 5, 7 at 250, thank you. 1, 0, 6, thank you. 1, 2, thank you. 1, 9, 6, thank you. 1, 0, 4, thank you. 3, 0, thank you. 1, 8, thank you. Number 2, thank you. 4, 0, 7, thank you. 2, 0, 1, thank you. 2, 0, 0, thank you. 4, 4, 8, thank you. 3, 8, 8, thank you. 3, 9, 9, thank you. 1, 1, 5, thank you. 3, 8, 7, thank you. 1, 1, thank you. 4, 8, 8, thank you. 4, 8, 7, thank you. 4, 0, 0, thank you. Keep that round of applause up. 4, 5, 3, thank you. 347, thank you. 39, thank you. 57, thank you. 441, thank you. 43, thank you. 440, thank you. 110, thank you. Is there anyone else at the $250 level this evening? 500, thank you very much at $250. Anyone else at the $250 level? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play a game for our final level of the evening. As it's been explained to me, this game has not been played before, so I'm going to explain it to you. We're going to play paddle for a prize. And the way that tonight's game will work, there will be volunteers coming around the room to pick up your paddles in the basket. If you put your paddle in the basket, your paddle is collected. It is a $100 donation to the Les Turner ALS Foundation. So by submitting your paddle, you're agreeing to donate $100. The winner, or let me pause, we're going to bring up all the paddles, mix them all up, and draw a winner. That winner is going to receive what you see there on your screens, a wonderful Chicago staycation. A $200 gift card for premium steaks and seafood at Ocean Prime. 2 tickets to The Color Purple at Goodman Theater running June 21st through July 27th. A luxurious one-night stay for 2 at the Elegant London House. It is a perfect blend of fine dining, world-class theater, and relaxation. And it could be yours if you paddle for a prize. So we have volunteers coming around the room right now. Go ahead and put your paddles in the air if you would like to be entered to win this wonderful Chicago staycation. And don't forget, when your paddle goes in the air, it is you giving $100 to the Les Turner ALS Foundation. So when your paddle gets picked up, it is a $100 donation. I see volunteers coming through the room now. Go ahead and get those paddles up in the air so we could see them. We could get them collected. Volunteers, if you would like to take your paddles to Mark, he has the basket on this side of the room. Is there anyone else before we go? Yes, we have one gentleman right here that would like to put his paddle in. Anyone else? 406 way back there, they want to put their paddle in. Is there anybody's paddle who got missed? Right there. He made it easy for you. Anyone else? Paul, do you want to come on up on stage with me, sir? We got one more coming.
It's me. As you know, since I cover politics, the paddle with a 20 clipped to it is going to be the winner. Chicago way.
Do you have the basket of numbers? Thank you, Mark. All right, here we go. Four, 5, 3, table number 32, Coleman, J. So congratulations, you are the winner of the Chicago Staycation. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a pleasure for me to be here tonight. I appreciate your bidding, your giving, and I'm going to turn it back over to Paul. Thank you.
Justin, thank you so much for all your work tonight. And thank you all for joining us tonight at the 37th Annual Hope Through Caring Gala. As always, it's been a very special evening, and I extend a special thank you to all of the people living with ALS and their friends and families who have been our guests this evening. Let's show them our appreciation. You are the reason we are all here. Before we conclude, I may have some news. Kim, do you have it? No, it's okay. Skipping over that, I will say that if you have been inspired tonight, then we want you to continue to help out, which you will be able to do. You can move the prompter. We're talking. I skipped over part of that, yeah? But I need to see this, because you can still make a donation, but the way you do it, using the QR codes found on your tables, you can bid on actually the silent auction is closed, but because time. But do please join us at the ALS Walk for Life this fall, September 20th at Soldier Field. And yes, that's where I first met so many people here. Now the program is going to conclude. The evening is far from over. The bar is open. You'll be able to check out for your silent and live auction items. Dance the night away until 11 o'clock. Help me thank Lakeshore Encores, our band, who's going to join me now for some final words that Aaron inspired me to read. Lakeshore? Just to end with these words to give you something to think about. And the world will be better for this, that you all, scorned and covered with scars, still strive with your last ounce of courage to fight the unbeatable foe and to reach the unreachable star. We will succeed. Good night.